Hey, what's up guys? It's Marv and welcome back to another Asphalt 9 video, and we are finally getting yet another track. I was actually not expecting it so soon after the latest Tuscany track, but nonetheless, here it is, and I have 3 screenshots to share with you guys. Now these are from Gameloft, so these are official screenshots, and in my opinion, they look pretty darn good. So I'm going to go through 3 of them. I'll save the best for last. Here you can see the first screenshot with what looks like a pretty decent straightaway, bunch of mountains in the background, nice luscious trees as well. So hopefully a track that will give us yet another top speed experience. I always prefer top speed oriented tracks, as you guys know. So hopefully this track can deliver that in spades. You can see that it branches off into 2 routes, one that looks more like an off-road area that goes underneath that mountain over there, and another that continues the normal road. Now what I also like is that this is a 4-lane road, which hopefully means most of the track will also be quite wide. That was one of the complaints I had with the earlier tracks in Asphalt 9, was especially in multiplayer, it could really feel like a traffic jam. You just get squeezed between 2 other cars and there wasn't really room for cars to be next to each other on the track. So I'm really glad that some of the later tracks like Greenland have been quite wide to allow for more cars and less wrecking. Alright, so here is the second screenshot, and this is quite an interesting one. You can see there are 2 layers of the track. Now, I assume that that bottom sort of half pipe area over there is part of the track, because if it's not, this would be a huge tease and a huge disappointment. I always love those types of textures and roads. We've had tons of them in Asphalt 8, where especially in the Nevada pipe, you could go around and up top, and we haven't really seen a whole lot of that in Asphalt 9. So I'm hoping that that is a playable area, and you can see it goes into what looks like a tunnel that goes into some sort of like military base area. I'm hoping you could do a full 360 on that area in the tube down there, but I don't think we've actually been able to do that yet in Asphalt 9. But nonetheless, you can see that this is one big sweeping bend. It may look sharp to you guys, but I can sort of tell that this is a zoomed in photo, so I don't think this is going to be a really sharp corner, but it's really hard to tell from just one picture. But you can sort of start to get a clearer picture of where this is located once you look into the background. We can see huge, massive mountains, some waterfalls in the distance, which is really quite nice. So I'm starting to think that this may be somewhere in the Alps, or maybe even like northern Canada, somewhere in that area where there's a huge bunch of forests and also tall mountains, maybe something like Alaska. But the fact that there is like a military base in the middle of this means that for me, it's definitely more of like European and Alps type of vibe rather than just pure wilderness in Canada. So I said I would save the best image for last, and you can see in the bottom there, it looks like a rocket booster. So I'm really hope that this returns to some fan favorite aspects of French Guiana from Asphalt 8, where you could of course watch the rocket take off, and you could see the space shuttle land in 1 or 2 laps as well. That was always a nice interactive element with that track. So I'm hoping we get more sort of interactive elements and more cinematic things that you can see in the background when you're driving, because I always love those additions. But you can see that from the track in the middle of this picture, it's actually quite a top speed oriented track. Obviously there are corners here, but it's not super sharp. And you can also see that, like with the first photo, the track does branch into 2 areas. So it looks like there's going to be quite a variation between different routes in this track, which is nice because sometimes in certain tracks, one of the 2 routes just goes the same way as the other one. So there's not huge variation, but in this one, it looks like they both go quite in different directions. And again, you can see in the background, huge mountains, could even be like cutting off a Matterhorn type mountain, which again, just leads me to believe even more that this is more like Alps rather than in other parts of the world. I can't imagine this is Himalayas, and as people have already talked about, this doesn't look like a Himalayas type mountain, and it wouldn't make sense since we already have that in the game as well. And it's hard to think of any other mountain ranges that look like this. You can maybe imagine the Andes mountains maybe in South America. That would be quite interesting. But yeah, I think this is going to be a really awesome track. I absolutely love the contrast between the sort of man-made rockets and what looks like a sort of military or air base versus the serene backgrounds with the huge mountains. And it looks like this is shaping up to be a very well-designed track as well. Again, I always prefer those top speed oriented tracks, as you guys know. But yeah, I'm very curious to hear what you guys think of these screenshots in the comments down below. I'm sure we'll get more information about this track soon, and you guys can expect some videos when that comes out as well. But I'm really looking forward to this. Let me know your guesses as well of where this track is. Again, I'm just gonna say Alps at the moment. I don't really have anything specific that I can tell about this location. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will catch you guys in the next one.